The one and only Amir Ali.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
And then I started doing more research and I found you, and I hate doing a video, but the coaching calls was one of the things. And then you had another video that caught my eye where it was specific, outside the PMP, but I knew this is real content. This is things that will be on exam, right?
I did hard work for sure, but I think the follow-up, sir, you did. I don't know how you managed to do the follow-up with one particular student like me. You have hundreds of students. You are just keeping an eye on each of the students. So after my hard work, I can say that the credit goes to you, sir. That is for sure.
Hi Amir, good morning. Yes, I cleared the exam. Thank you so much for your support. And this has happened only because of that customized roadmap and mocks, and you always keep on asking us to do proper RCA, detailed RCA. It happened only because of the detailed RCA. Yes, this RCA helped me a lot.
Thank you for all this guidance and support you gave me, Mr. Amir. Thanks for our team.
So I was just looking at his post, who cleared the PMP, and he used to post the success stories on daily basis. So I reached out to Alina and I asked her how is his program or something. So she said you can trust him and you should join this program if you are looking for it.
It was a very customized base feedback that I was getting from sir, from you.
So yes, follow-up is very important, and thank you very much for that. It made me accountable. If you didn't ask me this often, I would have slacked off more.
I would say your course was super important. I think this was the main part, once you understand the course, and then I think the mocks were super important. Your emphasis on mocks, you kept nagging us that, get this mock done, do RCA. All of this was super helpful because pushes were they were similar. So yeah, mocks were, there are so many mocks that you have, and if you do all of them, I'm pretty sure anybody who goes who does them can easily clear a PMP.
Amir, first of all, thank you so much. I think without your guidance, it took me 1 year, one complete year. I was preparing for PMP through books and everything. So I was giving some mocks also available online, and I was not able to, have that confidence that I'll be able to clear. But I'm telling you, after attending the classes, especially after doing the mocks, doing the RCAs, I was feeling confident enough that yes, I can attempt it. And the day you told me to book your exam, I still asked you, but are you sure that I can give the exam? And you said yes, you are ready.
First of all, I thank you a lot for the privilege, because when I started encounter with your program through LinkedIn, so some of your thoughts, always motivating me, I can do it. So I always follow you, almost everything, all your journeys. I watch all of them, even the one that they speak in your local language.
So that was not an easy journey, and it would not be possible without you. I really appreciate the support. He was always available for my questions and always put me in the right direction. And actually, if I want to say how was the journey, my journey started 2 years back. Then I first called you for the SP, and then you directed me to PMP, and then we did SP after that, and then you tricked me to do the PGMP.
Thank you so much, and again, Amir, thank you so much, and your mocks are really good. I mean, yeah, please, everyone should do your mocks for sure, and then they will be all prepared for the exam. And trust your program.
And then you came with your follow-ups, and that kind of really boosted me. Those daily follow-ups, making sure that I was getting the mocks that I needed to do completed, and following up on me, it really boosted my motivation again. And as I was started doing those mocks, I got an opportunity for a job which required me to have PMP, so I had to go for PMP before I get the interview.
Mostly coaching goal is for you understand how you will solve the question. Mostly it is like that. We can only do the 10 or 12 questions, maybe less than that. But main thing is it will come into your bones that you have to do elimination technique. So you cannot go just, okay, this is the answer, I will go directly put this answer. That is the main thing. It will come into you that you have to do elimination technique. That is the best thing for coaching all.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, with the right guidance from yourself, I managed to do good in the exam and to clear the PMP. I would say that your approach was really helpful because I'm not that type of a person who would sit there and read a lot of theoretical things to get things done. I'm more of a practical person who would prefer practicing over sticking to the theoreticals. And
I would definitely say that the root cause analysis for me was the key. And here's why. Is some people try so hard to memorize all the processes and how they're all linked together. And if you do this, then you got to do that. And some people, maybe they think that way. That was very hard for me. It was just a lot to memorize. I'm not Amer Ali. I can't do that. So for me, just the process of actually answering the questions with your technique of process of elimination. And then when you're left with always like two answers, which one do you do? And if you get it wrong, you have to go do the root cause analysis. So thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you very much for everything. Fantastic. I would not have done as well as I had done if I hadn't had the foundation that you gave me, for sure.
Who here wants to be successful? Raise your hands.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to the people who have joined this session from all over the world. And this is Jane Martina from Amirali's team. And today I'll be the one going through with this session. And yes, as always, the objective of this coaching call is we will be learning how to be decoding the questions from the PMI mindset and using elimination technique to identify the answers. So without much further delay, let's go back to the questions for today. So today the question starts from question number 26. At Stream Nova Studios, the team is mid-iteration, enhancing the AI-based content recommendation engine. The Chief Marketing Officer, Lena Otis, insists that a fixed set of promotional features be guaranteed for an upcoming launch event, while the product owner, Ravi Kale, maintains that user feedback-driven backlog evolution is essential. Developers are concerned about the mid-iteration priority shifts, as this has historically resulted in incomplete work and reduced predictability. Additionally, the legal advisor has raised early concerns that new recommendation rules may require compliance review. What is the most appropriate next step for the Scrum Master? Let's go to the options. Option A, encourage the CMO and developers to discuss fixed feature expectations informally so both sides gain clarity while the team continues their iteration work. Option B, review historical sprint data with the CMO to highlight how evolving requirements affect cadence while noting legal concerns for future refinement sessions. Option C, explore the CMO's objectives with the PEO and development team together, clarifying which items align with near-term value delivery while examining the compliance impacts as part of backlog ordering. Option D, capture the CMO's fixed scope expectations as provisional items for later review while maintaining the iteration's current commitments and focusing on throughput stability. So let's go with the timer. I know this is a big question, but don't worry. Once you solve, we will see how we can solve this. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the question. So here there is the team is working on enhancing AI-based content recommendation engine. So in most of the cases, which applications we are using, they are having this AI-based content recommendation engine. So there is a chief marketing officer. She's saying that a fixed set of promotional features be guaranteed for the upcoming launch event, while the product owner maintains that user feedback driven backlog evolution is essential. Okay, here there is some requirement for the upcoming launch, but the product owner is always having a user feedback driven backlog. So developers are now concerned because it is mid iteration and there is a priority shift. So has historically resulted in incomplete work and reduced predictability? So whenever this scenario happens, there is a history that the work is incomplete and they cannot predict what is going to be the output. So what the legal advisor is also saying, the new recommendation rules may require compliance review. So the recommendation engines rules may require compliance review. So there are two or more factors that is coming in. So what is the most appropriate step for the Scrum Master? Okay. So let's go option one by one. Okay. Option A, encourage the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer, and developers to discuss fixed feature expectations informally, so both sides gain clarity while team continuing their iteration work. Okay, so here it is like a more of a collaborative option, right? So, but here there is no conflict coming up, but still this seems to be like involving CMO and the developer team. But something is missing here. I can see the product owner is not involved here. Okay, so this may not be the most relevant or answer. So let's go to the option B. Review historical sprint data with the CMO to highlight how evolving requirements affect cadence while noting legal concern for future refinement sessions. So here they are taking into the legal concerns into refinement sessions. But here when they are just showing the CMO how about in between mid sprint, mid of the sprint when things are coming up, how the historical data has proven. But this is not a concern here, right? The CMO is having a requirement. The product owner is always depending on the user feedback driven backlog refinement. And the developers are very much concerned that if the requirement is coming in between the mid sprint, how they can complete their work that is planned for their sprint. So here the historical sprint data has nothing to do with the CMO. So even though the second part of the answer covers legal concerns with future refinement sessions, but the first section of this answer is not convincing. So we can eliminate option B. Let's go to the option C. Explore the CMO's objectives with PO, yes, and development team together, yes. Clarifying which items align with near-term value delivery. So this also covers that PO is always making sure the value realization even before alignment, while examining compliance impact as part of backlog ordering. So even before doing the backlog refinement, this seems to be more of involving all the parties in alignment. So yes, we will go. So far, this seems to be the most better answer compared to the previous two, but we should not stop there. We should go to the option D and see whether that is a better answer than C, or C remains to be the better answer. Okay. Capture the CMO's fixed scope expectations as provisional items for later review while maintaining the iteration's current commitments and focusing on throughput stability. This seems to be like completely ignoring or alignment with the CMO's fixed scope expectations. So still we go with option C because this has got all the factors that is coming in considering what is the near-term value delivery as keeping it as the highest priority and working towards it. Okay. So if you agree, please put in the comment box that you have agreed to this question. If not, put your doubts there. So we will be going through that and we can discuss. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. At Drive Motion Systems, several agile teams developing perception, control, and simulation features rely on a central sensor component team. So multiple team report consistent blocking because the CSCT handles both defect fixes and new research spikes. The system architect warns that delays in sensor fusion experiments threaten compliance with updated road safety standards. The release trained engineer observes that periodic coordination meeting surface symptoms but not root causes. Which to action most effectively improve system flow? Okay, the options are introduce a Kanban visualization for CSCT to reveal capacity constraints, aligning dependency expectations across all requesting teams. Option B, request each dependent team to recognize its sprint goals around CSCT's availability to avoid blockers during iterations. C, conduct structured dependency mapping with teams and architecture to reprioritize items that minimize bottlenecks while balancing compliance needs. D asks teams to delay work on sensor dependent stories until CSCT stabilizes its research work and defect backlog. So here goes the timer. Okay, so please update your answers in the comment box, okay? So that we will see whether your understanding of the question is aligning with the answers, right? Okay. Let's go back to the question. Let's dive into the question. There are multiple factors impacting the decisions. Okay, so they are talking about a central sensor component team, which is having several agile teams developing perception, control, and simulation features, which is completely relying on the sensor component team. Okay, so now they are saying there are different blocks from the CSCT team where they handle both the defect fixes and new research spikes as same. So this has created some unwanted bottleneck there in the system when they are developing. So what the system architect says is like, whenever there is a delay in the sensor fusion experiment threatens compliance with updated road safety standards. So there are observations. The release train engineer also saying that periodic coordination meetings that is always surfacing with the symptoms but they are not addressing the root cause. So it is an agile project, and there is multiple agile team working, and there is one team which is developing the central sensor component team, which is having dependency, which is creating dependency to the development teams. Okay, now what is the question asking is, which two actions most effectively improve system flow? So the system flow, what is the system flow demands? One is that the team should know what is in progress, what is in development, what is in testing, where it is going, whether it is done or not, whether it is they are working on the defect fix or whether they are working on the research part. So they wanted to have a visibility so that they will know how the system will flow, and also the dependency, like what is dependent on what feature. So they should have a visibility of it. So you should look for these options in the options when you're reading. So let's dive into the option A. So here they are saying they wanted to have a Kanban visualization for CSCT. Yes. So we can see what is in progress, what is in WIP, what is in like done, what is in testing. So where the dependency or bottleneck is going to come up. So introducing a Kanban visualization can be a better option to see how the system is flowing. Okay, and also it will reveal the capacity constraints, aligning dependency expectations across all requesting teams. Yes, as we discussed, this will create like what is a dependent, which item is dependent on what, whether where it is currently in the Kanban visualization. So yes, this can be one option, but there is one more option we need to select and two more options we need to eliminate. So let's go back to option B. Request each dependent team to reorganize its sprint goals around CSCT's availability to avoid blockers during iteration. So it is asking that like every dependent team, they need to go and reorganize their sprint goals according to CSCT, which is not a most ideal way, because here they are asking how to improve the system flow. But this option is like always you will be reorganizing the sprint goals of the individual team, so it is not an advisable one, so we can eliminate it for now. Option C, conduct structured dependency mapping with the teams and architecture to reprioritize items that minimize bottlenecks while balancing compliance needs. So this also address like see here, this option is simply going and asking the team to reprioritize the sprint goals around CSCT's availability. No, actually that is, it should be reversed. So the CSCT should know what is the prioritized item they should work on, and they should also based on the structured dependency mapping with the teams, and also they should also consider that along with balancing the compliance needs. So this address both of the concerns that is being raised in the question, but we should know whether option D holds good or not. Ask team to delay work on sensor dependent stories until CSCT stabilizes its research work and defect backlog. So this seems to be like delaying a work, which is again going to create a bottleneck for the dependent team, which is relying on the CSCT. So with the discussions, we are going with option A and option C, and we are eliminating option B and option D, right? Okay, we'll be moving on to the next session, next question. Valoria Couture, a luxury retail brand, is building system style assistant. Okay, the team consistently meets velocity goals, yet the CMO, the Chief Merchandising Officer, reports that customers are not engaging with delivered features. The data science lead claims that velocity does not reflect predictions accuracy or user sentiment. Meanwhile, marketing teams are pressuring for faster feature output for the upcoming seasonal launch. Which metric should the PM emphasize first to improve decision making? So the options are A, trend analysis of team's capacity over previous sprints, highlighting stability and predictability of delivery. Option B, measures tied to customer value such as behavioral adoption, system accuracy, and realized benefits to guide the backlog prioritization decisions. C, flow efficiency across model refinement and UI delivery pipelines to identify value stream bottlenecks. D, cumulative throughput and burn-up indicators across releases to demonstrate progress towards launch deadlines. So here goes your timer. Okay, so let's go back to the question. So here they are building a style assistant, and the team is always meeting the velocity goals. That is, they are meeting the sprint velocity. But the CMO is saying the customers are not engaging with the delivered features. So when they are getting the feedback, they are saying they are not engaging with the delivered features. So the data science lead, the data scientist says that velocity does not reflect prediction accuracy or user sentiment. Okay, so irrespective of that, the team needs to focus on the feedback from the customer. Okay, that's what this sentence says. So here the sentence says the team always working on selecting this user stories for the sprint and they are delivering it, but from the customer they are getting a feedback like they are not engaging with the features. So the data science lead is saying even though you meet the velocity goals, that doesn't have any accuracy predictions with the work that is delivered or that is related to the user sentiment. And also the marketing teams are pressurizing for faster feature output for the upcoming seasonal launch. So they are having a seasonal launch, the marketing team is also saying. So what you have to consider here, what are the which metric you should give more importance or emphasizes, like you give more importance to improve the decision making of the team to select the sprint user stories or their iteration user stories, right? So what you will do with that? So if you basically say the question is giving you two things. One is the customer feedback that they are not finding anything very engaging with the deliverables they are made, and also there is a pressure from the marketing team that what are the output features that you are going to launch. So the scientist is saying even though you are meeting your velocity goals, it doesn't mean that you are producing accurate or user or your features or your user stories are related to user sentiments, connecting towards them. So to improve this decision making, what a PM will choose as a metric. So A is saying trend analysis of the team's capacity over previous sprints, highlighting stability and predictability of the delivery. Again, here the main concern is the customer feedback that they are saying they are not finding it engaging. So this trend analysis just focus on the output of what has been delivered earlier. Here the output is not a concern, the value is concern. So the trend analysis just focuses on the output but ignores the value that is being shared by the customer. So option A cannot be a right option. So I'm going to option B. Option B says measures tied to customer value. Yes, it is the most important thing. Like, what are all the measures? It can be a behavioral adoption, system accuracy, and realized benefits. So these can be some of the measures that is tied to the customer value to guide backlog prioritization decisions. Yes, so they will see like the backlog has to be refined for the next sprint. So how they will go for it? They will take measures which is tied to customer value. So this has some options like behavioral adoptions, system accuracy, realized benefits. So this seems to be more addressing towards the inclined towards the primary problem of the statement that is given, scenario that is given here. But that shouldn't stop there. We should also eliminate other options. Option C, flow efficiency across model refinement and UI delivery pipelines to identify value stream bottlenecks. Here they are not having something like bottlenecks because still the team is able to deliver the velocity goals. So the concern of customer value is not addressed here. So this can be eliminated. You go to the option D. So it says cumulative throughput and burn up indicators across releases to demonstrate progress towards launch deadlines. Again, this is not talking about whether the velocity goals are met or not, because they are talking about throughput and burn up indicators. The team is still able to deliver. The problem is with the decision making of what user stories needs to go into the sprint. So with this analysis, we are going with option B as the most relevant and right option. So let's move on to the next question. At Aerosafe Solutions, the team is improving a predictive aircraft maintenance dashboard. The regulatory liaison frequently approaches developers directly with mid-iteration requests related to the compliance visuals. So the PO is not immediately available. So that means whenever the regulatory liaison person is approaching the team, so they are finding that the PO is not immediately available. Developers feel pressure to adjust work without clear backlog refinement, creating confusions and defects. So past audits revealed non-compliant reporting due to inconsistent requirement handling. What is the most appropriate next step for the Scrum Master? So it is saying, so the regulatory license is coming with directly approaching the developers in mid of the iteration, which is related to the compliance visuals. So the developers are not feeling okay to take the requirements directly without the backlog refinement. So that is creating confusion and defects. So what is the most appropriate next step for the Scrum Master? So here the options are: confirm the license need with both the product owner and developers together, clarifying how compliance related insight should enter refinement discussions while preserving iteration commitments. Option B, capture compliance expectations as temporary guidance to help developers make informed trade-offs while continuing current iteration work. C, discuss recent compliance audit findings with the license and developers to frame the importance of consistent communication patterns in future cycles. D. Highlight the team's iteration goals to the liaison while documenting compliance-related details for a later backlog review sessions. So here goes the timer. Okay, so let's just dive into the options from D. Okay, so here they are asking what is the most appropriate next step for the Scrum Master. Fine. Here the option D says highlight the team's iteration goals to the liaison. No, actually it is coming from the regulatory person while documenting compliance related details for a later backlog review sessions. So it is directly like putting that into a documenting even before having good session or getting the inputs from the regulatory license. And this option is like directly the Scrum Master is getting involved without the product owner. So I won't be going with this option. So let's go back to the option C. Discuss recent compliance audit findings with the liaison. Liaison is the direct person who's coming from the regulatory and developers to frame the importance of consistent communication patterns in future cycles. But this is like more towards awareness, creating awareness, like how they have to communicate the further compliance audit findings and then how they have to reach to the developers. But here they are not talking about how this requirements is going to be added into the backlog, right? The question is more emphasizing like how the frequent approach to the developers from the regulatory person with a mid iteration request related to compliance visuals are going to be managed at the backlog, because without any clear backlog refinements, the team when they start working on implementing, they are resulting in the defects. Okay, so this says like even before consulting with the product owner, even before consulting with the license regulatory person, the team jumps in working up and coming up with the defects. So what you will do to avoid that? So option C doesn't seems to be addressing that particular problem, so that cannot be the right option. So option B says capture compliance expectations as temporary guidance to help developers make informed trade-offs while continuing current iteration work. Again, here the product owner is being missed out. As a Scrum Master, you cannot directly capture the compliance requirement. You need the product owners present. But here the question doesn't say he's not at all available for a duration time. He's saying he's not immediately available, but so you should look for an option which says or which involves the product owner in refining the backlog. Okay, so option B, C, D doesn't have that. So let's see what option A has. So confirm the license need with both the product owner and developers together, clarifying how compliance related insights should enter refinement discussions while preserving iteration commitments. So you have to, even though you are in mid of the iteration, you should manage how you will be preserving the iteration commitments, along with you have a discussion with the regulatory license person, with product owner and developers together, how this is going to be related, how you're going to align with the backlog, making sure that the current iteration is also maintained. So option A is a right option. And we have come to the last question of this session. Cineflux Media is enhancing its real-time encoding engine. Okay, several delivery teams depend on a shared performance optimization module owned by a specialized component team. Okay, there is a shared performance optimization module is there, which is shared by many component team. The lead platform architect wants that increasing latency threatens regulatory broadcast standards. Meanwhile, the security manager notes that certain optimization approaches may conflict with encryption requirements. Prior attempts to surface risk during retrospective missed cross-team impacts, leading to fragmented visibility. So again, this is something, a question which says about agile concept. Okay, let's see what this question is asking. What technique best ensures early detection and management of cross-team technical risk? So option A says maintain risk nodes within individual team spaces while ensuring each squad logs architecture-related concerns for a periodic review. Option B says established a shared enterprise visible risk board review during cross-team synchronization events such as technical alignment forums. C, root risk consolidation through a single security representative who provides summarized insights during stakeholder demos. D, delay risk review sessions until encryption and optimization conflict stabilize, focusing interim efforts on throughput. So let's take the timer and then come back to the question again. Okay, so again, there is a centralized component team that the lead platform architect, the architect is saying there is a latency threatens because there is a delay in when they are going for the regulatory broadcast standards. And the security manager saying that optimization approaches may conflict with encryption requirements. So this is seems to be like a more of a problem scenario where it involves a lead architect, a security manager, and the development team who are relying on the specialized component team who is working on the real-time encoding engine. So when you are publishing in media, this is what they have to work on. Okay, so when they are working on it, earlier attempts to surface risk during retrospective has missed cross team impacts, that the entire team coming together and solving it has not been effective, and this has led to the fragmented visibility that you don't know where the exact or real the problem arises or how it can be solved. So here the question asks how you can early detect this kind of a scenario or situation, and how you will handle or manage the cross team technical risk. This is more towards a technical issue, right? This is more towards a technical issue, even though the question has many very new terms which is related to the technical side of coding of I mean, when most of the agile projects are related to real time enhancing of a application, right? Software. So this question has more of a development technical terms. But if you just take out that technical terms, the real problem is some situation is coming up with delayed in identifying the problems. So there is a delay in identifying the problem, and the team project manager has to manage the cross team with technical risk coming up. So they are asking how you will identify the technical risk at an early stage. So this is what the entire question is talking about. If you just read the last statement of the question, it says best ensures early detection and management of technical risk. That is the actual question. Okay, so now let's go back to the options and let's do elimination. Okay, now you will maintain risk node with individual team spaces while ensuring each squad logs architecture related concerns for periodic review. So this is saying like you separate team maintain separate risk registers or separately captures the technical risk. See, the PMI will play with wordings. Okay, they will assess the English command over the questions as well. So this is saying you maintain individual risk for the team, and whenever there is a periodic review, you bring it together and discuss it separately. That is what option A says. But that is not going to early detect the risk associated with cross team technical. Okay, so I will be we can eliminate that option A. We can go to the option B. Establish a shared enterprise visible risk board. So here you have a risk board shared among the different teams. Okay, that is reviewed during cross team synchronization event such as technical alignment forums. So that the technical alignment forum is just giving you an example about what when that can happen. So it is nothing but team cross team synchronization. They come together, review the visible risk board that is being shared across the team. So this at least can give you like what are the risks that is shared among the team because of that real-time encoding engine or the specialized component team. Okay, so this is like more of a shared resource which will give us shared visibility and which will enable you in term to detect the risk earlier. So this seems to be more relevant option to this question, but we should not stop there. Let's go to the option C. Root risk consolidation through a single security representative who provides summarized insights during stakeholder demos. This is like you put the entire thing on one particular person, which again can create a bottleneck. You need a single security representative who should be a very good subject matter expert on that particular risk handling, and if that person is not there, then it will create a bottleneck. So this cannot be a good option when you are going and selecting when you are having a cross team who are working together. Okay, so let's go to the option D. Delay risk review sessions until encryption and optimization conflicts stabilize, focusing interim effects on throughput. Again, this you can never delay risk review sessions, right? You cannot wait for the things to stabilize, settle down, and then you update the risk. No. So among these four options, we can find option B as the more suitable option for this question. So with this, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you so much for keeping throughout the session. Sorry, I couldn't see or options which you have given here. If you have any concerns or queries, you can revisit this session with the screenshot. You can either you can directly put it in the concern WhatsApp group you are part of, or you can directly check with your facilitators. Anyways, we will be responding to you. Thank you so much for staying with the session, and we'll meet in such a session soon. Thank you.
I would have not been able to clear the exam if Amir Ali would have not been there. I would have not been.
I did not believe that I will be able to clear my PMP within a month.
I don't know what to say actually. Like I'm kind of like really
I got my results and I was above target in all 3 categories.
Wow.
So